Alright, what up YouTube? Welcome to a new video, obviously. Okay, so I just hit my top double for the day, but before I show you guys that, because this video is going to be me reacting to my first powerlifting meet that I did almost 5 years ago this year, because it's 2023, which is crazy. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and show you some old squat footage that I found on my YouTube channel, because my videos go back like 5 years. So yeah, just enjoy this old squat footage and then enjoy this top double that I just did today. So you guys obviously just saw that 606 double. Moved pretty well, felt okay, but like I knew the speed was there. As long as we're in a position where I need to be, I'm gonna be fine, because like I personally know how I squat, and if you've been watching me for a minute, you know how I squat too, right? So overall really good, but it was also really cool to see just how far we've come. And I wanted to make that video, that reaction video, just to kind of like just to see how far we've come, basically, because you know, like you saw the video, I was squatting low 400s. Now I'm literally benching that. But it's just like, you know, that's what happens when you stay consistent over time. Show up every day, take care of your protein, sleep as much as you can. Obviously, when I started, I was an undergrad, so at one point I was working like 2 jobs, so sleep was never ideal, but you know, we still got it done. So, and then obviously as I've evolved over the years, I've gotten smarter. The way I approach training is smarter. Everything's better. You just evolve as a lifter. Like your technique evolves, the way you approach everything evolves. Mentally, you evolve too, just with how you do stuff. Like you might not even notice it, but between the way I used to squat and the way I squat now, you would say, wow, that's so much better now. But it's not like like obviously we always try to improve like the technique and the positioning and all that stuff, but I never, like there was never one day where like, okay, I'm gonna change to do it this way. It was just constantly looking for improvement, and it kind of micro evolved over the past like 5 years into what it is today. So that's what I was kind of talking about, how we're always looking for little ways to get better, and you're just gonna naturally evolve as long as you're putting that work in. But anyway, I'm about to go home because I'm exhausted, and then we're gonna go react to our first meet video. So I'll catch you guys there. Routines. Okay, so now we're gonna react to my first ever powerlifting meet. Do not worry, I do have clothes on, if you were worried, but not that you were. But we're gonna do it a little bit Last Dance style, to where I'm gonna watch it back on my iPad, and then you're gonna kind of play it, see it happen too. So that's how we're gonna do the reaction. Just kind of mix it up, do it a little bit differently. Even though the Last Dance was just a bunch of propaganda, but you know what? I'll let it slide for the purpose of this video. But yeah, so let's just let's go get right in. All right, so a little bit of backstory heading into my first powerlifting meet. I was 21 at the time, 26 now. I had been lift in a gym since I was about 13, just for sports purposes, right? So I'm very familiar with the weight room. But I just only been powerlifting training roughly for about 3 to 4 months at this time. I was self-coached because I was in undergrad. It was like sophomore year, so I was still self-coached because I couldn't afford a coach or anything. So I didn't really know a whole lot was going on. I literally pull up to the meet by myself. I drove about 2.5 hours, go to the meet. It was at some super small gym. I literally just go there by myself. All I had was a singlet and a belt. Then I obviously I knew the rules because I read the rule book like 3 times over the day before or the week before, and then I'd watched every YouTube video on powerlifting meets like the whole week, right? So I was somewhat aware of what was going on, but at the same time I had absolutely no idea what was going on. But obviously I learned very quickly, you know, just kind of thrown into the fire. But it was just a really cool experience because I was literally on my own, and I just showed up and I just did it, and it was actually a lot of fun, and I ended up PRing and everything. But I think that was just because I at least knew how to train somewhat smartly at that point. Like my programming going into the meet was not the best because I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. I was learning a lot of stuff, but I knew not to overdo it the weeks leading up to the meet. So I was somewhat smart at that point, right? But anyway, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it.
Just like so nervous or whatever. So we're opening up with a 190 kilogram squat, so about 418 pounds. And we're gonna attempt a 140 kilogram bench, so roughly 308 pounds, and conservative, and we're going a little bit more conservative on deadlift with a 200 kilogram opener, so about 440 pounds. So now,
okay, so openers were 418 on squat, 308 on bench, and I have a funny, we'll talk about that when we get to bench. 308 on bench and 440 on deadlift. So Yeah, we've come a long way. First squat, 418. So look at my shoes. If you look at my shoes real quick, those are Nike skateboarding shoes that I literally got from my mom because they had a flat sole. That's literally, I just knew people said have a shoe with a flat sole. That's literally all I got. That's literally all I had. No knee sleeves, no wrist wraps. Literally singlet and belt, man. Singlet and belt. I was so nervous. Look at that depth, bro. I was hyped. Second, 430. What was that? 12-pound jump? Okay. Look how small I was. I was about 198 pounds. This was my 93 kg debut. Look at that depth, bro. So clean. So yeah, I weighed about 198 at this point. So I was literally 90 kg. And then 205. This was a very small jump. Wait, I took a bigger jump. See, this is how you know I didn't know anything, because I took a bigger jump to my third than I did to my second. That's how you know I wasn't really sure what was going on, because obviously you should not take a bigger jump to the third than you do for a second, unless something obviously goes wrong. But third attempt squat. And it was actually easy. I had a lot more in the tank, but that was the most I've ever squatted at that point. Like, I had never squatted 450 to depth at that point. So that was actually crazy. And now I literally bench that in competition, which is also crazy, because I never would have thought I would have done that. Like, you don't think like that, right? Like, come on. So hyped after the squat. So hyped. So nervous about the pause on bench, and you're gonna see it. So we opened at 308 on bench. I literally did 315 in the warm-up room on bench, and then I go and open at 308. Cause I didn't know at that point like what a pause in competition was, because I had no reference, right? So I didn't know. So I was like, I'm just gonna be light no matter what, and then I'll take a jump if I need it. So bench opener. .308 after doing 315 in the warm-up room. Flat back, close grip. This is the IPF bench. Flat back, close grip. The special. Look at that, smooth. I was happy with that. Dude, I will never be this happy competing again. That's what's crazy. I think third was 341 if I remember correctly. Yeah, that should be 342, I think, technically. I remember being super nervous. I remember wasn't sure if I was gonna get this. I'm just wearing basic Nike shoes at this point, because I bench, I didn't know if it made a difference. So I just wore like my trainers. 341. I could probably do this for like a set of 12 now. Look at that control. That was a good third call there. Good third call there. We probably didn't have much more in us. 2.5 more, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, 3 for 3 on bench. I was pretty stoked. 340. Because so at that point I'd been a relatively good bencher for a while, because I had actually done bench programs growing up. But I had done 360, like 360-ish, 365 touch and go. But I had to adjust to the pause, obviously, and so like I said, I had no idea what to expect with the pause. So yeah, going into deadlift, we were a conventional boy, and I was a conventional boy for the first year and a half of powerlifting. Look how small I was, bro. Holy, I was lean too. I was 198 lean. So opener 440, 200 kg. Bro, I was looking jacked. I wasn't jacked, I was just small, which just made me look lean. So this was, you know how long ago this was? This was back when you could take your shirt off on deadlifts before they changed it to where you couldn't. And now you can do it again. That's how long ago this was. Kids these days, they don't know about that. So 440 opener, easy. So coming to the meet, my goal was 500 on deadlift. 474, 15 kg jump. I was like, I didn't know anything about deadlift. I was just like, I'm gonna open light, and then I'm just gonna take this number in the middle. And then I was, cause at this point, I'd only done like 465-ish in training for like a double, I believed. So 474 was a weight I've never touched. But I obviously did 465 for a double, and so I knew the strength could be there, but I literally had no idea where my top end was gonna be, and I wanted to give myself a chance at 500. So I was at least smart enough to realize that if I want a chance at 500, I need a second that needs to be in the 470, 480 ballpark roughly, to let me know. But I was being very nervous for this. Look how I just pulled. I just literally yanked that shit. My grip was so wide. I don't think I could do that now. That just feel weird. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm 100% putting 500 on. So 500, here's, never done 500 before. This was like my goal going in. This was like my lifetime goal at the point. Literally, all I wanted all week, it literally says was 500. I was like, I'm gonna pull 500. It's funny, I pulled this and I thought I was like big stuff, you know? I thought I was the guy. It's like, brother, you're not even like, I'm about to bench this now. Like, come on now. I remember being so nervous for this. I don't think I've ever been more nervous for a lift than I was like on this day. Did it relatively smooth too. I was so hyped. I had to like keep my emotions in check. I don't have that problem anymore, but back then I did. I was so hyped. I was so hyped. So ended up, first meet, ended up doing 452 squat, 341 bench, and then 501 pull, which is crazy if you look at the numbers we're doing now, because like the numbers we do now, at that point, I was like, you know, it'd be cool if I ever squatted 600 at some point in my life, right? But now, like I literally doubled that this week, and it's just like full circle moment, like crazy. It's just crazy to think about, because at that point I never, like, oh, it'd be cool to bench 405, but I had no concept of actually benching 405, and now I'm like repping that, and it's just like, huh. You know, it just inevitably comes up, and I never thought I'd pull 700, but now I'm doing that, so it's just like, it's different, man, it's different. And like the first, like your first, I was so hyped in this video, my first meet, and then I immediately went home and I signed up for a meet like 3 months later. I competed 3 times in the first like 7 months of powerlifting. Would not advise you to do that, but that's how, but then I took like 8 months off from competing, but still training. But I would not advise you to do that, but that's how like excited I was. And I kind of made that comment earlier, like the first like 2, 3, 4 meets of your powerlifting career, you still have that like you're still almost naive to everything, so it's like you're just enjoying everything, and it's so much fun. Now obviously I enjoy it now and it's fun, but it's like a whole different level of enjoyment and fun, and it's just like a whole different thing. Like I would like just to go back and experience that moment, like that always be special, which is why I'm glad that I have this video to reference. And it's just crazy. And I look so small and so young, but I'm still young, so yeah, we're still young, so we got that. But anyway, that's me reacting to my first powerlifting meet. I just wanted to share that that experience with you guys, because a lot of people now don't know about that. Like they literally don't know. I've been in the game for a minute. I'm not an old head, but like in a few years we're gonna be an old head. So it's kind of crazy, kind of a full circle moment. But it also like it kind of shows what can happen if you just stay consistent. Because honestly, he never thought like that kid, me, aka younger me, had goals, but they were never, like he never thought he would get to this level, or he couldn't conceptualize getting to this level. I literally can't even describe it. Cause like if you would have told him, hey man, you know, in 4 or 5 years, you're gonna squat 700, you're gonna bench 470, and you're gonna pull 700, like, I would have thought you were on crack, you know? So it's just like crazy to see. But that's just what happens, you know, when you show up and you work every day. Because I always try to get my training in. So that's like, no matter what. If my training's scheduled, I always try to find a way to get in. Work around stuff if I have to, but just take everything seriously. And it's just also crazy to see how much my life has changed from literally not knowing what powerlifting was to showing up to my own meet, my first meet, just kind of like running around, and now it's basically like my career and my life. So that's also kind of crazy to think about, you know. But yeah, that was my first powerlifting meet experience. I totaled 1293 on the day. My last meet I totaled 18. I don't even know, man. My last meet I totaled 1885, I think. No, 1881. I was like 20 pounds away from 1900. But anyway, 1293 total to 1885. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. And this meet I was about 90 kg. Obviously right now we're working on filling out 110, and I try to keep my body composition relatively lean because I just wanted to show you that, like, hey, when you do it the right way over the past 4 or 5 years, just steadily growing, look what can happen too. So that's also kind of crazy. I'm gonna make some more videos talking about what I used to do, and just how we've come around. But overall, yeah. So if you guys enjoyed that video, just go ahead and smash thumbs up, and thank you for being here. I'll see you guys next one.